Okay, right. I've got one answer from one student who has read the chapter on Qiyamah. Anybody else read the chapter? Because we went fast, I just gave a lecture and read through the Quranic verses that were there. Nobody else has read the chapter. Is that really right? Can't believe what I'm seeing here. When I ask you to do something, please do something. It is important that we read, because otherwise, whatever I said, it would have been lost after a week of not reading anything. So it is important that we prepare for the class when we come in here. That's okay. One of the students still doesn't have the book. Meg Zara has read the chapter. Very good, very good. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Okay. I will ask Muhammad Abbas Ali Hamdani to unmute your mic and talk us through his presentation in a few minutes. Please pay attention. Can you all see the screen that I have here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll put it on a slideshow now. Okay. Start, please, Muhammad Abbas Ali Hamdani.
So, assalamu everyone. Yeah. My presentation is about Nubuwa and Imama. It's a third Suladin. So, what Nubuwa actually means is a Nabi defined. It's defined to be the bearer of news. So, Nubuwa was made by God to establish leadership and guidance for His guidance for His creation for mankind. And Nabi, so to guide the path, to guide the people, mankind, to the right path. Yeah, next slide, please. What are the qualities? What are the qualities required for a Nabi? Firstly, a Nabi has to be chosen by Allah. It can't be chosen by like leaders or like queens and etc. So yeah, it has to be chosen by Allah. There cannot be self-appointed prophets. Secondly, a Nabi must be sinless. Arabic term Isma. Isma means he has been given protection against committing sins or making mistakes. Every prophet is also granted the power to perform miracles to prove that the message is from Allah Himself. The act is called Mu'jiza. Also, Nabi must be infallible because Allah sent them to guide people to the straight path and become role models for us to follow. Imama. An Imam is Masum, same for Nabi, which means his devotion is to Allah, so great that he can never commit a sin, as has been blessed by God to see the consequences of the sins that tempt us in our daily lives. An Imam is a lutf of Allah, meaning God's grace on us humans. Allah through His kindness and mercy would not leave us in chaos of religious disagreement. Why do we need the Imams? We need the Imams because to have a leader at all times, to teach us that the teaching of the Prophet. This is because we can gather different views and interpretations of the Quran and Hadith, which can cause disunity of Muslims, as we see today. That is what the Imam was chosen to do, and keep Muslims as united as possible. Allah chose the Imam to protect Islam teachings and not allow it to become distorted. Also, the Imam was seen to be the proof of Hujjah. Proof of Allah, sorry. There you go, the qualities of Imam. Isma, free of sin. So that same for goes for Nabi as well. Alam, most knowledgeable person of all time, of his time. Tafdil, superior in all good qualities. A person who is inferior cannot lead a person who is superior to him. Zud, free from the love of the world. The Imam will never build palaces for himself, but instead his clothes, food, and laughter will be the post of his followers. Mu'jiza, of course, able to perform miracles. Nas, put about Allah and Messenger.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much, Muhammad Ali.
no problem.
Okay. Anybody has any questions on what his presentation was like, or everybody happy with that? If you are having some doubt or question on the presentation, please press the raise your hand button. We'll give you 10 seconds to ask a question to Muhammad Abbas Ali. Okay, everybody seems to be happy. Thank you very much for doing that, Muhammad Abbas. I have a question, and this is quite important. When you said, when you're talking about they are protected by Allah from doing sins, I don't think that is correct.
What do you mean, sir?
That is not correct. Allah doesn't protect them from committing sins. They have free will just like us to do sins or good deeds.
But they must be, so hence why they don't commit sin.
Yeah. So what is the definition of that? Masoom doesn't mean that they're protected from doing things. They have a choice to do every act that we have the choice to do. However, Allah gives them special knowledge, so they see the reality behind the act, and they choose not to do the incorrect act. So Allah doesn't protect the sins. They give them deep knowledge of any action that they might undertake. So they choose wisely and don't do the sin. For example, I mean, take any example. A lot of people lie to protect themselves. Oh my God, my mistake will come out if I tell the truth. So an imam or a prophet or a nabi will know the qabuha of the actual act of lying, or he will have the knowledge of the disgust of the wrongness or the incorrectness of lying, and they will not lie. But we don't have that knowledge. We just know that we shouldn't lie. But because they have even deeper knowledge of a particular act, they can easily choose not to commit that sin. That's the main thing. Okay? So there's no protection from sin as such, but their knowledge is extra, so they protect themselves from sin with Allah's help, obviously. And the second thing was that zuhud. Zuhud, you mentioned they don't build worldly palaces, lavish palaces, perfectly fine. They don't do anything lavishly. They don't have the love of the world. However, it's not necessary that they'll have the poorest of clothes. Yes, Imam Ali alayhi salam used to have the poorest of clothes and the most basic of foods. But Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam used to dress up very nicely in the best clothes of that time. Imam Raza alayhi salam used to be in a very good attire all the time. So it's not about not having nice things. It's okay to have nice things, but your life should not be consumed by your idea of having nice things all the time. And you shouldn't be in love with them in such a manner that you lose focus of the real things. Having good things is okay as long as it's not your focus of life. Our focus of life should be in giving. And that's what the main thing here is. Did you get me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Zuhud is not falling in love with worldly things, not letting it consume your life. I think I had given an example earlier in some lesson that we should use the world as much as we need, like a ship sailing in the sea. It needs water, and it only uses that much of water so that it'll help the ship to sail. However, if it falls in love with the water because it's so nice and looks so good, and starts taking in the water inside the ship will sink ultimately. You see? So it's not about taking the entire world inside you. It's just using the world to your benefit of reaching Allah. Okay? So that's the thing about as far as Zuhd is concerned. Thank you very much, Muhammad. I'm going to close this and see if I can open the book. Somebody
problem,
has
sir.
sent a message. Hold on a second.
My pleasure.
Wonderful. Murtaza, I'm not sure which quote you're referring to and in what context. So I don't understand what you're actually referring to. So you can tell me more if you want. That is the core of Imam Ali, isn't the ship and water? Not so sure. Maybe it was Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam. Sorry about the phone call. I keep getting phone calls today. It's been very busy. Okay, let's go to the chapter on Qiyamah and see what we have. Let me close this bit, or let me share this another screen. How do I do that? If I close this, stop share. I can do stop share. Oops. Okay. Share screen, and to ask me which screen I want to share. I want to share this screen. Okay. Can you all see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. As long as I got a response from one of you, I know that all of you can see it. Right. I was going to go through some the questions and answers that are there, which would have been very, very self-explanatory on the chapter itself. So let me do it. But half of you haven't read it. Some of you don't have books either till now. We've been halfway through the section, the entire session of 12 classes. It's high time you guys got the books or downloaded it for that matter. It's only £1 to download. Okay. Let me ask the question one by one. Don't start writing the answers for all the questions at one go. Only answer the question which I'm asking you. On the day of judgment, who will be the distributor of paradise and hellfire? Who will be the first person to enter paradise? On the chat screen only, please. Okay. Okay. So the first person to enter paradise will be Imam Ali alayhi salam. Is that what you all are saying? I can see some answers coming that Imam Ali is going to be the distributor of paradise and hellfire. Okay, Allah. Right. Right. Murtaza correct. Shapara correct. Very good. Lady Fatima Salamullah Alaiha is going to be the first person to enter paradise. Mehak correct as well. Okay, Abbas correct as well. Okay, thank you. What is the book of deeds and what is the significance of receiving your book in your right hand? If somebody wants to speak, they can speak because it could be a long explanation. Long in the sense that, long in the chat. Somebody wants to speak, you can unmute yourself and speak. Go on.
And the book of deeds is where the angels write down your good and bad deeds. And like if you're a good person, you get the book in your right hand. If you're a bad person, you get it on your left hand and from your back.
Very good. Thank you very much, Masha. It's the book that has all our deeds. Farzan, very good. Abbas, yes, very good. So you all know. Okay, perfect. So the ones that have not replied or responded, it is about getting the deeds, the good deeds. If you have good deeds, you will get it on your right hand from the front. If your book is overweighing with negatives, you'll get it from the back on your left hand, in your left hand. Okay, so that means the significance would be whether you go to Jannah or Jahannam, depending on the book. So thank you very much. You all had all correct answers on this one. Give an example of 3 things that might testify against you on the day of judgment. Okay, Abbas, correct. Iman, correct, but that's only one. And Murtaza, correct, but that's only one. I said 3 things. Okay, Murtaza's got 2. Brian, okay. Those are your feet as well. Shapara saying limbs, hands, legs. Limbs include hands and legs. So limbs is not different to hands and legs. Hands and legs means limbs. But that's a correct answer as well. Meg, Zara, correct. Alamdar, correct. Okay, Zain, correct. Iman, not your faith. It's your body parts which we'll talk about. Your eyes, correct. Iman, no. Iman is not the right answer. Yes, your prayers will testify. Thank you very much. We move to the next question. What can you do to ensure that your right side of your mizan is heavy? First question, what is mizan? Very good. I think you all know mizan means scales. And you know, things on which you weigh something. So you have, let's say, you're buying sugar, you put some sugar and you put 1 kg weight on the other side so that sugar is 1 kg if you were buying 1 kg. So that's what scales are basically. You all know about it. So what can you do to ensure that the right side of your mizan is heavy? Right side means the good deeds are heavy. What can you do to that for that? Please type your answers quickly on that one. Perform good actions with strong and pure intention. Very good. Alhamdulillah, prayer. Very good. Do more good deeds by helping others. Iman. Very good. Murtaza, Zain Hamdani, do good deeds. Very good. Alhamdulillah, good actions. Okay, one answer is good enough. But there is something that you all have missed. Shapara, pray, salah for the lawful one, or just because have it good. Farzan, help the needy. Murtaza, avoid haram. All very, very good answers. Still missing the one that I want, which is emphasized in the book. That's why I want that one. Alhamdulillah saying basically follow the footsteps of the Ahlul Bayt. Perfect. Abbas intentions. Okay, all good answers. Okay, let me get you out of this one by saying you all know this answer, so you'll all be smiling to yourself. You ensure that the right side of your mizan is heavy. Recite as many salawat on the Prophet and the Ahlul Bayt as much as possible, because it is easy to do it and it is very, very heavy for your right side of the scale. So all these are good that you've answered. Quran and Ahlul Bayt, good, very good answers. But reciting the, yeah, okay, fine. So I knew because you all knew this answer. So recite as much salawat as possible. For salawat, you can do it anywhere as possible. Anywhere in any conditions. You don't have to be in wudu, although it is better to be in wudu all the time. But you don't have to be in wudu to recite a salawat on Rasulullah and his Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam. Okay, now, fifth question on it is, which is one thing that will help us cross the Sirat quickly? What is our path to Allah in this world? Somebody who's read the chapter will know. Prayer. Okay, Iman. Okay. But I want the answer, what is mentioned in the chapter, in the book. Make those who are pious will be able to cross the Sirat quickly. Very good. Zain, Quran. Okay. There's a hadith in the chapter which answers this one. For example, the Quran, Abbas has got no backbiting. Shafara, if you hold down onto the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, very good, very good. But what is the thing that according to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam will help you cross the Sirat quickly? I'll tell you, all of you have given sort of correct answers, but according to, yes, Shafar, yes, be God very okay, all that is correct. Listen to me now. The hadith says, Rasulullah said to Ali alayhi salam that anybody who is with your love, Ali, they will cross this path easily. Is the Hubb Ali. Remember, you all mentioned that Imam Ali alayhi salam is the Qaseem nar wa Jannah. He is the one who distributes or divides. So he's along with in that hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Jibreel Amin, and Imam Ali alayhi salam, they're all sitting on that path as well. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Imam Ali alayhi salam that whoever is in your love will cross the path easily. The second part of that question is, what is our path to Allah in this world? The book says that the path to Allah are the Ahlul Bayt, and Imam Ali alayhi salam is the Sirat al-Mustaqim. So basically, all the Ahlul Bayt are Sirat. Imam Ali alayhi salam is the Sirat al-Mustaqim. It's in the chapter. If you had read it, you would know. And last question out here says, pick one verse of the Quran in this lesson that really stuck out to you. Can somebody who has read the chapter tell me something? Which one has stuck to you? Which one? There's so many, translations here, various chapters. So you can pick any of them, one of them, if you have the book, or if you don't have the book, then no, it's okay. Surah Anbiya, Mehak is saying, Mehak Zara, this clearly explains that each deed will be accounted for and no one will be wronged, no matter how small that deed. Very, very good. Very nice that you picked this one up. Thank you very much. Now for me, this one was the one, Surah Yasin, Alamdar says, verse 59. Okay. The one that I am looking at is from Surah Mudassir, is the one that I found quite telling. What drew you into hell? They will answer, we were not among those who prayed, nor did we feed the poor. We used to gossip along with the gossipers, and we used to deny the day of judgment until death came to us. So if somebody is like that, then you would expect that person has not got much hope, isn't it? But Allah can forgive, but Allah does not forgive shirk. There's no way to stop them from, for they must be questioned, which implies that every single is questioned. Okay, Abbas, thank you very much. So I just want to go through this because it was quite a deep thing, and I want to leave with this here, that dying and going to the next realm is actually a good thing. One should not be scared, because if we do good deeds, you all are young people. Some of you just turned baligh, some of you have been baligh for some time, some of you might not be baligh, I don't know. But it is very good to go into Jannah. Oh, sorry, not good. Of course, it's very good. It's very easy to go to Jannah. So only the most, lowest of the low person is going to end up in Jahannam. So what we need to do is we need to not be scared about life after this life. We should just be prepared. It's the same situation for two people who are students and they have taken their exams. One has done well and one has done not good at all, because they both know what to expect roughly. They both know what to expect. Now the person who's prepared, who's taken the exam well, will be comfortable, have a smile on their face, they're going to be okay. And then they will go to the university level or wherever they're going, or get a nice job. Whereas the one who has not done well is going to be in trepidation, in fear on the day of the results, because he knows or she knows that they're going to be doing really badly and they let themselves down and they will have no scope in the future. Those are the people who need to be worried. Now, we all don't want to be in that situation, which is why we are learning. All of us are learning together so that we can practice better, so that we can have our intentions better. If we have intentions good and then we do our practices with good intentions, there's no reason for us to fail. Allah is actually looking for chances to forgive us. He's not there looking to punish us, but he's there looking for opportunities to forgive us, because he is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. That's his name. So many times in the Quran it says Bismillah Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. It doesn't say Bismillah Al-Jabbar, Bismillah Al-Qahar. He could have used any of his names, but he always wants to say to the people that you're talking to Rahman Ar-Rahim, and we should use the Rahman Ar-Rahim's Rahma in a good way, so that he just has no other option. It's very easy for him to forgive. We do so many mistakes, yet he forgives. So if you just give him some good stuff to see from us as well, it'll be on our right side always. So we have to be prepared, not scared. If we are prepared, there's no reason to fear. Of course, we should be humble about it. We shouldn't go around saying that, oh, I'm going to score 95% in this exam. I know I'm going to score 100%. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to get a university admission in one of the top universities because I know I've done very well. There's no way you should be going around being arrogant about it. Remember, arrogance is only suitable to shaitan. Nobody is arrogant. Arrogance led to shaitan being banished or Iblis becoming shaitan because of his arrogance. And Adi says the person who is arrogant will not smell the fragrance, not even smell the fragrance of Jannah, but from thousands of years away. So if it takes 1,000 years for us to reach Jannah from a point, even from that point, you will not even smell it. So that's how far we will be from Jannah if we have arrogance in us. So that's the one thing that we should always avoid and have good intentions and do good deeds, inshallah ta'ala, and we'll be fine. Now, that was the chapter on Qiyamah. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. But I want to go on to the next part of the book, which is fiqh. And this is quite important because fiqh is jurisprudence, as we all know. And jurisprudence helps us, Muslims, Islamic jurisprudence helps us to live our life properly in this world. It helps us with the practical aspects of living life in this world. And that is why it is important that we are governed by the rules that have been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I might have explained it. So we practice our life or live our life in the manner according to the fiqh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why it is important. Now, fiqh can be quite technical. It can be very deep, and there's not always, direct, clear-cut, black and white answers. There are many situations of gray. So there's nothing to be, very, very hung up on some things, which some people can be. And we discuss very private aspects as well in fiqh. So I expect you all to be mature enough to be able to discuss this in a mature manner, not having a giggle or a laugh or hear. These are serious and important things. But, there's nothing to be ashamed about. There's nothing to be, we don't have anything that we will not discuss. Let's put it that way. And I am saying that because I expect you all to be mature people, grown up boys and girls, inshallah. Okay. So we have this chapter here. I'm not going to read through it because, I only have about 25 minutes or so, and then you all start asking me questions after that, which I love actually. So what I want to say is that I'm just going to, scroll the chapter down so that I can see the topics that are there, and then give like a lecture. And then I want you all to read through the chapter and memorize as much as you can. It's important to memorize fiqh because it's for daily life. You will come across in a situation in life, and you need to know. So that is why it is important that you all read and memorize as much as you can, and you can ask me as many questions as you want. If I can answer, of course I will. If I don't know the answer, I will find out the answer and come back to you. So as I've already given a little introduction, that fiqh is about, about obeying Allah to the best possible manner in this world, in the practical sense, so that we listen to His hukum and we practice those hukum by undertaking those duties and fulfilling them. Now, the first chapter in all of the fiqh book is always about ritual purity, which is najasa and tahara. Okay, so we start with najasa, and najasa does not mean dirt or filth only. What it means is ritual impurity. What does Islam consider something to be najis? Najis means ritually impure. Sometimes, you see a marshland and you think that, oh my God, my shoes and trousers are going to get dirty if I walk through it. But they might not be ritually impure. It might be dirty. Sometimes najasa can be dirty and impure both at the same time. Sometimes it can only be impure. So I'm going to just skim through it. There are 9 things that I've got the page up there, as you can all can see. The 9 things mentioned in the book, which are ain in najis. Ain in najis means inherently impure, or by essence, by their own essence, they are impure. You can never purify them. And the stuff is mentioned: the urine, stool, blood, animal carcass, dogs, pigs, alcohol. One that is not mentioned, which is important, is also kafir or kufr. Kafir is also ritually impure. They might be dressed in the best clothes. They might have a shower day in, day out, or twice a day with the best perfume. Still, they will never be pure. So what it is, okay, Alhamdulillah, I'm coming to that. Okay, now don't go around to your schoolmates or classmates saying that, to a Christian or to a Jewish person, that you guys are ritually impure. First of all, a kafir is defined very technically in a different manner. One who denies God and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, so don't go around talking to people like that. First of all, it's very rude. Secondly, you need to be wise. Wisdom is important. That what applies to you applies to you, and you have to be wise and subtle about these things. Okay, so I don't want any of you. This is probably the reason why that is not there in the book, because in this country, or any country for that matter, any country where or any person, you should not be going around talking to people saying you're ritually impure because you're a kafir. No. How do you know what he has in his heart, or what they might have learned, and how they have learned it? Maybe it's because of our behavior as Muslims that they hate Islam, not that they don't want to learn about Allah and Rasul. But it should be very wisely dealt with, these things. So anyway, now urine, stool, we know they are actually dirty and impure. Blood, as long as it's not out of the body, it's okay. It's meant to be inside the body. Blood outside the body is impure when it gushes out. When you cut it, sorry, say that. Who's wanting to say something?
Is it just is it kafirs who are impure, or is it those who do shirk?
Mushrik and kafir are impure. Anybody who associates with Allah, and anybody who denies Allah. A mushrik could be a Hindu person as well. Okay. I'll lower your hand, Murtaza. Thank you very much for that question. Alamdar says that dogs should be changed to wet dog, don't you think? Said, well, it depends on what your marja says, but dogs are generally considered impure. Now, the important thing here is that don't go around saying that somebody owns a dog, say, oh my God, this is dogs are impure, I don't want to be close to you, this, that. Okay, fine, don't be close to it. That's fine, that's your choice. But for that person, they don't know any better. So that's why they have a dog. And if something is impure, ritually impure, it doesn't mean that you can't be near it. You can always wash yourself after it, even if it's urine or stool. But I'm not saying that you should go to it and touch it. No, don't. Because it's filthy as well, apart from being ritually impure. Animal carcass, anything, any animal whose blood gushes out, like us, when you cut your skin, blood will suddenly ooze out. That animal's carcass is also impure. Dogs and pigs are impure. Dogs, some mazhab say that only wet dogs are impure. But even then, if you have dog hair on your body, you can't pray with that. There's also things about cat hair, is no problem at all. However, some mazhab say that with cat hair on your body, on your clothes, you should not be praying. It is makruh. So you can have dogs, but they must stay outside your house. And if they come inside your house, you have to purify that place that they've been on. Nobody is allowed to treat dogs and pigs, or anything else for that matter, badly. No maltreatment allowed just because they're impure. But God created them for a reason. And Imam Ali alayhi salam has said somewhere that, gods are a great creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dogs are a great creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And alcohol, you all know, is considered haram. It is ritually impure. Yes, Murtaza?
I thought this as well, but then at one time I was on Ayatollah Sistani's website, and I actually saw that it said that all forms of alcohol except wine and beer are not ritually impure. Can I screen share for 1 minute?
Yeah, all forms of alcohol apart from wine and beer.
Yeah, could I screen share to show you?
Okay, can you do it?
Oh,
You
no.
can't. You'll have to send that to me, and then I'll have to share it like I did with Abbas's presentation. But
Okay.
yeah, so what you're saying is all forms of alcohol apart from wine and beer are okay.
Not okay. They're just not najis. So they're completely haram for consumption and everything. But they are not najis. So I sent you the link, and it is the.
I haven't come across that, but when they say it's not impure, it means drinking it might be haram, but touching it might not make you impure. So they're spirits, so they evaporate or something like spirits. Things like spirits, they're also alcohol.
So it's this. So if you have a link, have a look at the link I sent you.
What was it? 1123.
Yeah.
What is the ruling about using perfume? So if you're using perfume, which is alcohol based, there's no problem at all. You can put it on your body.
It's the second question down. All the way from the top, the second question down.
Yeah, what's the ruling of various forms of alcohol? What about the families of alcohol that synthesized from petroleum are used in perfume and all that? Yeah, all kinds of alcohol, whether extracted from wood or other sources, are tahir, ritually pure, and are not permissible to drink except for wine, which is also najis, and beer, which is also najis, ritually impure, as an obligatory precaution. Yeah, that is exactly what it is. So if you basically have perfumes, you won't drink it, but you can apply perfume on you which has alcohol on it. Most of the perfumes that all these top brands are selling, they all have alcohol in it, and lots of it. Well, that is why they evaporate. Because you have alcohol-based perfumes and you have oil-based perfumes. Oil-based perfumes they leave a stain on your clothes. So in the modern age, they're not considered very fancy. In the days gone by, people used to think that, he's put perfume on that, so because by seeing the stain on their clothes. It's considered okay thing. So, okay, Alamdar.
Thank you.
I'll answer that at the end of the lesson. Yes, Murtaza?
If you have a look, this is really surprising actually. At the end of that question, at the very same question, it says it's permissible to eat such food if the amount of alcohol is very minute, e.g. 2%.
Yeah, according to Ayatollah Sistani, 2% is very, very minute. Surprising. Yeah. No, it is there, because when it says that if it's not too much of alcohol, which you can taste the alcohol, then it is considered okay. But it's only for followers of Ayatollah Sistani, not for anybody else. Who are yes, maybe because it does not intoxicate you. That could be one of the reasons. But it is najis. Remember, it is najis, that alcohol, if it is wine, except for wine, although it says Murtaza, 2% except for wine. So wine under any circumstance is not allowed because it is najis. And remember one thing, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or any ruling says something like it is najis or you should not use it or makruh, remember one thing, it is for our own benefit. Nobody is gaining from that, because it's not just about our body. Even if our body is not not impacted, let's say you don't get high on it or something like that, because it takes different amounts of alcohol for different people to get intoxicated. So somebody can get intoxicated by half a glass, somebody can get intoxicated by 5 glasses. So the guy who has it for 4 glasses, he says, okay, I'm not intoxicated. However, remember, everything wrong intoxicates your soul or impacts your soul. Everything wrong, whether it's alcohol, whether it's a bad act of lying or dishonesty or whatever it is, it impacts our souls. And we are not just bodies, remember. Our bodies are governed by the soul. So make sure to avoid these things so that we do not get our souls impacted. Now, where's the book gone, Murtaza? Because I shared your screen, I've lost that.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Can you see that now? Can you see
Yeah,
the book now?
thank you. Thank
Okay.
you for your.
You're very welcome. No. Cats are not najis. They are makruh. And Abbas was saying before that, when Bani Israel changed to the pigs after they made the golden cow, some of them, yeah, that's also something that you need to consider. Yeah, they were. Some say they were changed to monkeys, whatever. But the point is that we should try and avoid, not get into too many discussions in this. We should try and avoid anything which has a doubtful acceptance in Islam, which is considered najis. As much as you can, you should avoid it. Okay, that's the rule of thumb. Now let me move forward now. Okay, urine stool we discussed, blood, if it comes out gush, alcohol we've discussed, animal carcass we have discussed. Any animal whose blood comes out with the gush, and they're slaughtered, it is considered najis when it dies. Dogs and pigs, okay, pigs, there's always a reason for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to create anything, whether it's pigs or dogs or whatever. So pigs eat a lot of rubbish. So there is a reason why they're there. And I'm not going to get into details of it because it's not relevant. All it is that it is a najis animal and it is haram to eat. Okay, is any part of a bird najis? Yes, it can be. There are lots of things about birds sometimes which are najis. In fact, for all halal animals as well, some of the parts can be najis or not allowed to eat. Is there more to your question, Iman? When you ask that question, is any part of the bird najis? I mean, of course, if they have like their stool and all that, you need to wash it up. If you go to pray and anything like that. But I've just skimmed through the chapter because you all are aware, most of you are aware of this chapter, because some of you I know have not studied this before, but some of you might be getting bored of listening to this from me, at least in my class who have been studying in Al-Qaim. Yes, you're allowed to keep birds, yeah, but birds like which are scavengers like vultures and eagles, no. Although if you can keep it outside, like people have falcons for hunting and all that, or sending messages in the days gone by, they used to have falcons, which is a kind of an eagle, or different species. So yes, you are allowed to keep outside, but chaining somebody down like that, especially birds, is a very harsh thing to do. If you let them fly and all that, that's perfectly okay. I don't know. Next chapter in this is mutahharat. No, I want you to read the chapter and answer these questions. We'll discuss it quickly next time. Mutahharat are things which purify najis, which make you pure and ready to go for prayers or something like that. Okay, now I've got the chat screen in front of me, so if you raise your hand, I might not see it, but if you type something, I will see it quickly. Now, mutahharat are things that they clean you up. When I say clean you up, I mean it purifies you. Now, there are a list of it here, as you can see: water, earth, sun, Islam, tabayya, Ghaibatul Muslim, Istihala, Inqilab, and Intiqal. Let me run through it quickly. Water, you all know, if you are najis, if you have some part of your body najis or clothes najis, if you wash it with water, when it's a water, it means mutlaq water, which means pure water. And what is pure water? It doesn't mean that it's been boiled or distilled or anything like that. What I mean is what is considered water is called pure water. For example, water in a stream or in a river or something, water that's coming on the tap, they are considered mutlaq water. And there's another term when if water changes color, taste, or smell, when you can say that this does not seem water anymore, it's not water anymore. For example, if you mix Ribena into water and it changes color, it changes taste, you can't do wudu with that because it's not water anymore. You get it? Simply, and then you have something like a drop of blood falls into water, and that water is not good enough for you to do wudu with or have a ghusl with. But if a drop of blood falls into a river, it's okay, although it's still water. Now there's another concept here, which is the concept of kur. Kur in the calculations is approximately 384 liters of water. So if the water is kur, then you can use that water for cleaning up your najasa. Anything which is not kur, the term used is qaleel water. If an impurity falls into it, when I say impurity, I mean a shara'i impurity, like a drop of blood falls into it, a drop of urine falls into it, then it is najis. Even though the taste hasn't changed, the color hasn't changed, I'm just talking about a drop here because it dissolved in there. Then it is not, it cannot be used for wudu or ghusl or drinking or anything like that because it is najis. Okay, Abbas was saying, I was reading about Nigeria in geography today and they have lots of Shias in the north. Yes, only around 60% of people have access to mutlaq water. Are the Shias allowed to perform with only water that have access to mudaf? They have access to mudaf. Okay, yeah. They can do, if there's no water there, then they will have to do tayammum, which is a totally different thing. So mudaf water is not enough, which is mixed water, is not enough for wudu or ghusl. They have to do tayammum if they have to do their prayers or whatever to make themselves non-najis, basically being the absence of mutlaq water. Now, in Nigeria, north of Nigeria, I've never heard that they don't have mutlaq water, but that might be a case. So thank you for that question. That's a very good point that you've made over there. And I'm very, very proud of all you guys. You've made some really, really important points today and answered some questions very, very nicely. Alhamdulillah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. Now, anything less than kur is called qaleel. Yeah, I understand that, Abbas. And it could be an issue for a lot of countries, a lot of places, not the entire region as such, but little places where they don't have water for wudu or ghusl or something. They will have to indulge in tayammum and make themselves purified and then do their prayers. Okay, then earth is also considered amongst the mutaharat. So if your souls become soiled with some, let's say some animal pieces, something like that, and then if you walk around on the ground and wipe it off, and then you walk about 15 steps or something on mud or on sand or something, it is considered pure. But remember that the impurity has to come off first. Similarly, the sun as well, things that cannot be washed and all that, like walls and trees and heavy things like that. If you put it in the sun, if they're in the sun, face the sun, and the najasa has been removed, then what can happen is it is considered that it is pure after it's been in the sunshine. Okay, one little blood or urine falls into the ocean of water. No. Okay, Alamdar. There's kur water. The water in an ocean or river is considered kur. So if 1 liter or 10 liters or 100 liters of impurity falls into an ocean or river, it still doesn't make that water impure because it is more than the quantity of kur and is flowing water. So we're talking about water being, for example, if it's a huge tub as well, a huge tanker, like we have reservoirs here. Even in that, if an impurity falls, you can still do wudu from another part of it, as long as the smell, the taste, and the color has not changed. Does the sun only purify things that can't be purified by water? Yes. You can wash it with water. The deeper rulings are there, Murtaza, on that one, because there are certain deeper. I don't want to go into that now because it'll be a proper fiqh class, and I need to have my fiqh book with me because I don't want to quote anything wrong. But yes, if you can wash it with water, then you must wash it with water. For example, if something has been licked by a dog, for example, a utensil has been licked by a dog, you put it in the sun, and you expect that it'll be considered purified. No, you have to wash it. Sometimes some might just say twice, some might just say 3 times, some might just say 7 times, all that stuff. So that's details in fiqh, but we can get into the nitty-gritty of that, but I'll keep my fiqh book with me when I do that. So the sun also purifies things like, all these fixed items or heavy items. Then Islam purifies people. Like we said, the kafir is considered as a najis person. But when you say not physically, it's his soul that becomes najis. And that is why it is not ideal to eat wet food cooked by them with wet hands and they're providing it, all that stuff. But when a person accepts Islam, believes in Allah and Rasul, then he or she becomes a tahir. Now, then the next point in the book is about tabiyya. Tabiyya is something when, something dependent on something also gets purified, because the first thing which is dependent has become purified. For example, a kafir becomes Muslim, then their children who are non-baligh also become Muslim. They also become pure because those children are dependent on that person who was non-Muslim or not non-Muslim, so was a mushrik, for example, and then he accepted Islam. Then his children by default become pure as well. I'll give you another example, which is also in the book, is that when you have, let's say, wine in a utensil, so the wine is impure, najis, so the utensil is impure now. Now you boil the wine so much that it loses all the alcohol, becomes vinegar. Now that it becomes vinegar, so now the liquid is purified. Then in that case, the utensil itself is also purified. So you see, when the tabiya changes, it changes the dependent things as well on it. So Iman, is it okay to eat food cooked or prepared by someone who is not a Muslim, example in a school canteen? It's a tricky one. It depends who is cooking it. If you're not comfortable, don't eat. But if you know that it's okay, they are not mushrik they are not deniers of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as such. But like a Christian is cooking it or a Jew person is cooking it, it's no problem. But if it's an atheist who knows his stuff, like a lot of people claim to be atheists when they're not actually atheists. They just have not been given the right education. They have not been made aware of what God is and who is Rasulullah and all that. But if they know about Allah and Rasul, they've read the books, they've studied, and you've made an effort to teach them, and they say, no, this is wrong. There's no Rasulullah, there's no Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's no God, because I don't think there is any God. There's quite a gray area on that. So I wouldn't be able to answer you that question because I'm not a marja. You should be speaking to the marja who gives these rulings that what you can and you can't do. However, the general thing is that if you are not happy with something that is being cooked there, or the way it's being cooked, or by whom it's been cooked, don't use it. But most of the places in the UK, at least, they take good care of that food is being cooked by the right people, and half the time they're wearing gloves in any case, so they're not touching it. So you should be safe, I would say, if they're cooking vegetarian stuff or something like that. Okay. And then, sorry about that, too many phone calls today. And so tabiya is something which purifies something else because it itself has purified. I hope you got that. If you are confused on that one, let me know. Then you have ghaibat al-Muslim. Okay, let's say I'm holding a baby. I'm wearing a like an abal like this one. I'm holding a baby and the baby pees on me. So I need to wash this dress now because now it's become najis. So okay, so I go home or wherever I go, and then I come back after 2 hours wearing the same abal. Now, because you know that somebody like me is particular about following Islamic laws, then the absence of that person for a reasonable amount of time in which he could have washed that abba and dried it and then wore the same one is called ghaibatul Muslim. So he has left you for enough time to be able to purify your clothes. Then you have to assume that now he's wearing pure clothes now. And it's okay to pray in them, whatever. We can lead the salat or whoever it is. So basically, ghaibatul Muslim as a term itself goes to the absence of a Muslim for that amount of time in which he could have purified himself or his clothes or her clothes. It should be okay for you to assume that he or she is pure now. But the main thing here is that you understand that he is very particular about following Sharia, the fiqh things about purity and all that. Now again, istihala is something when a najis thing changes to an extent that it is not considered to be the same thing anymore. So the example given in the book is of a pig falls into the mud, it dies. Let's say a pig dies in the mud, and then it dries off or whatever happens. They put that, somebody comes, diggers come and all that, and they dig that thing and put it into a brick kiln where bricks are made. Now it's been heated to such an extent, it's been cooked to such an extent, it's not pig anymore, it becomes bricks. So that is an istihala, which is changed its thing. It's not a pig anymore. First of all, being in the mud for some time, is also a thing that, by that time it's decayed to such an extent that it's not a pig anymore. Then you cook it so much that it makes it not a pig. You know how bricks are made The mud is sent through a lot of heat and fire and all that to solidify it and all that stuff. So that then it becomes a brick. It's not a pig anymore. Similarly, it's like the istihala, like I mentioned earlier. I was giving the example of tawayya, where wine is boiled to such an extent that it loses all its alcohol content and becomes vinegar. That is an inqalab, where it loses its quality due to evaporation in the heat or putting a lot of heat into it. So that is also makes it pure. That's what it becomes. From wine to vinegar is through heat only, through boiling only. And it loses alcohol, it's a new substance now. So inqalab does not always mean, what do you call that? An uprising. It's called an uprising, but it changes the entire thing to something else. When the French Revolution happened, we said the revolution happened. It was an inqalab. What does that mean? Because it threw the entire system from what it was before to the new system. Then there's an intiqal, where you change the place. For example, people say inka intiqal ho gaya, or he has died. He's gone through intiqal. Why is it intiqal? Because you've gone from one place of the world to the next world of the barzakh. That's why we call it intiqal, because they gone to the next place. The example given in the book is that of a mosquito sucks your blood. So it sucks the blood but doesn't spill it out there. The blood that is spilled out there is najis, but when the blood goes into the mosquito, it's still the clean blood because it's inside the body. So it becomes mosquito's blood after some time, and then it is an intiqal situation which changes place from your body to his body. So these are the things that I wanted to go through with you today, because time is already up now. I want you to read these two chapters because they are very, very important. Why is a mosquito's blood not najis? Well, anybody's blood inside their body is not najis, and only when it comes out is najis. Blood is meant to be inside the body. Is that okay on that? Blood is meant to, when it's inside when it's coursing inside my veins, it's not najis. As soon as it comes out of my body, it is najis. Okay, so this is what I want you to discuss with you today. I want you guys to read through these chapters. We've gone quite fast, actually. I normally like to do it much slowly. Yeah, if you kill something and the blood spills out, that blood is najis. But what I'm trying to say is that something changes their place. Look at the term intiqal. It means to change place. When it goes from your body to the mosquito's body, it's okay. After some time, the blood in the mosquito's body becomes the mosquito's blood. So it's okay. Okay. So I want you guys to memorize these things as much as possible. And remember these things, because they are not all cut and dry, black and white. It is sort of, sometimes can be gray, like the situation of mushrik and kafir and eating, and like there was a question by Imran. Okay, another question, does intiqal mean that if I were to move something from one room to another and put it with lots of tahir things, it becomes park? Give me an example. Not, it has to, when you say it, move from one place to another, it has to be in a different realm altogether, or not one room to the other. Anything, I don't think it'll be one room to the other in any case, no way. For example, I could take it as this, like you have a carpet. It's in one room, it was najis, and you can't wash it. Well, you should wash it, but you want to push it into the sunshine, for example, and you put it in another room, then it becomes tahir after 1 day or 2 days of strong sunshine. But even for carpets, let's say, you need to wash it first before you put it in the sunshine. But if you just put something which is napak in one room, or the term napak is actually, you should use the term najis, because now you're studied now. It's not napak anymore, it's najis. Najis means if you turn around one room and you put it with lots of tahir things, it doesn't become, tahir automatically. It doesn't lose its najasa, when you know especially. And remember one thing very, very clearly. If you don't know anything is najis, assume it is all pure, all tahir. You have to be sure. The rule works in the way that if you are not sure if it is najis, assume that it is tahir. if you are unsure whether it's tahir or not, assume that it is tahir. You can't say I'm not sure, so I won't use it. No, your assumption should be always on the side of tahir, unless you're sure that there is najasa or it is najis. That is very, very important. The assumption is always on the side of tahir. For example, if you have a glass of water lying in, let's say, for example, you've been in a restaurant and you're not sure whether it's tahir or not, you have to assume that it's tahir. You don't think that in that restaurant somebody would have spilled a drop of blood on it or something like that. Likelihood, yes. If you are saying that I'm not sure whether it is tahir or not, then assume it is tahir. You have to be sure that it is najis. You don't have to be sure that it is tahir. As long as you know that it's not najis, it is tahir. If you think that it could be tahir, it not could be not tahir, it is tahir. Okay, that's the main assumption. Okay, any questions, please? The class lecture is over, but I'm open to ask, or you all asking questions. Many people have not contributed that much today in the class, so if you want to ask any questions on the chat or on the mic, I'm open to that now. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, wherever you are. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Okay, more questions? Come on. Can the assumption be based on example? If you know that it is far more possible that a splash of water comes from the toilet rather than anywhere else, then it has to be considered tahir. When you say from the toilet, you mean the little vessel in which you pee or something like that, then it could be considered that, you know, if you don't know where it has come from, it is pure, it is tahir. That's the likelihood question of your mutaza. If you don't know where it has come from, it is tahir. Another says, if you do qurbani and there's blood remaining in the animal, is that blood? A very important question. Okay, hold on. Before anybody asks any question, remember, listen to this question. If you do qurbani, so if basically you slaughter an animal and there's blood remaining in the animal, is that blood najis or not? Okay, it is not. Because there's a technique to slaughtering in which 3 veins have to be cut of air, food and water, and blood. And then after the blood has drained off from the veins, and then you see that there's something, traces of course, the blood is in the whole body, but once the animal has died and the blood has drained off from the veins, from the neck that has been slaughtered, then from that point onwards, that blood which is stuck on the body is tahir. Does not cause any problems for health. And Zain asks a very interesting question. Why is shirk the biggest sin? Shirk is based on basically arrogance, Zain. Sometimes, you know, like Iblis, he was arrogant. And a person who is a mushrik, a known mushrik, who does shirk because he thinks that is the best thing, he can worship idol, this, that, and the other. And he introduces many other deities along with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or God. What he's doing is that he knowingly is being arrogant about the fact that he's happy to introduce other gods, and that is why Allah does not like it. A lot of people who are doing, you know, shirk, like, you know, if you go to the Indian subcontinent, they're worshipping idols. Most of them don't even know what they're doing. And in fact, if you ask them, they'll say, oh, there's only one God. You know, it's just a manifestation of this, that, and the other. But they don't know. They're confused people. So that is why shirk is something related to arrogance. And it is shaitani, or it is satanic. And that is why Allah does not forgive that. Kalandar, whilst you're praying, you have desperate need to go to the toilet. Can you break your salat, or do you just rush to complete the prayer? Both of them are incorrect. First of all, you should always try to refresh your wudu before your salat. And you should never ever be in a situation where you suddenly become desperate during your salah. Because wajib salah, you're not allowed to break it. What that will mean is that you're rushing through it, and that will not be ideal. That kind of prayer is like just going through the motions, doing acrobatics of, you know, qiyam, ruku, sajda, and then salam and khalas. So you're not even paying attention to that. Your focus is on your problem. in your body, because you have a need to go to the toilet desperately. So it is always good idea to get into prayer once you are feeling relaxed and focused, because you're standing in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just imagine if you're going for an interview, you will be prepared beforehand, right? You don't want to sit 10 minutes into the interview, it's meant to be lasting 1 hour, and say, oh my God, I can't focus, because I have this urge to relieve myself. So you won't be focused on the questions, the discussion, and people who are listening to you will be saying, oh, there's something wrong with this guy, he's not fully focused here. So you're going in front of the biggest boss of all bosses. You need to be showing a little bit of humility, coming prepared. Lost 10 minutes maximum. Most of you will finish prayers in 5 minutes, I would say, but maximum 10 minutes. I'm giving you like a reasonable amount of time. But you should be prepared before that. It is not correct to break your wajib salat. Okay. What if you have incontinence issues, or do you not have any need, or you did not have any need to go before? Well, incontinence is a different issue. It has different rulings on it. Whereas if you did not have the need to go to salah, to go to the toilet before salah, I don't think you will become so desperate, because you were comfortable. That's what you're trying to say. You were comfortable. Then how can you be suddenly in a sudden desperate need when you were not at all in the need? The thing is, what I am understanding from your question, or what I'm gathering rather, not understanding, although I understand your question very perfectly fine, and thank you for all these questions, is that, you could have gone to the toilet, you could have gone to the bathroom, used the bathroom and refreshed yourself and then did a wudu, but you were just being lazy. And you said, okay, let's go and do a salah because I've done wudu like for 3 hours earlier. I want to go to the toilet and do wudu again. I just want to finish the prayer quickly and then go to the toilet later on. That is what causes these issues. People being lazy. But remember, being in wudu is a good thing all the time. Not just a good thing, it's a highly recommended thing. So, Murtaza, just a second. Yeah, so being in wudu, even if you go to the toilet, if you have finished prayers, go to the toilet, do wudu again. Because it's a very, very highly recommended thing to be in wudu, because it protects you from a lot of things, a lot of calamities that might be coming to your way. You're protected from it. Something majorly wrong that you could have ended up doing or wanted to do, you avoided that because of your wudu. And always make intention of qurbatan ilallah whenever you do any act of worship, and wudu is an act of worship. So it is important that you always do intention of qurbatan ilallah. It's not just washing hands and coming. No. It's about qurbatan ilallah. So be focused when you're doing wudu. Just like in salah and in Saum and everything, you have to be having an intention. Yes, please, Murtaza.
This is a bit of a but
I can't hear you anymore. Suddenly you've gone.
can you hear me?
Hello? No.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now it's better. Yeah, go on.
Okay, sorry. This is a bit of a random question. Can I still ask it? Or
Yeah. Okay, if it's
so,
random on the topic.
Sorry?
It's on the topic, right?
No, it's completely random.
Okay, go on then. Now you want to ask, I won't say don't ask.
So mixed gatherings are like imagine a group of friends, right? Are you allowed to like go out with a mixed group of friends or not?
Ideally, no. I mean, if everybody is in hijab, and they are actually practicing hijab. Hijab doesn't mean an headscarf and full sleeve shirts and clothes. Hijab of the eyes, hijab of the tongue. Very, very important. Like, sometimes we go out for meetings for work. There are lots of women and men. You can't do without. Or if you just want to go into a coffee shop with friends, it's not ideal, especially because that kind of an activity is not for any purpose. When you sit down in a coffee shop and just laugh about it. Well, that is not ideal. And also on social media, it's not just about sitting down. On social media as well, if you're having a private chat with a non-mahram man or a woman, it is not ideal. It's not allowed. Definitely not. Social media, you've got to be very, very careful about, please. Okay, anyway, that's not on the topic. But to answer the question, keep away from that as much as you can. Okay, Murtaza? Yeah, questions on Tahara and Najasa, please. More. Alhamdulillah, incontinence has different rulings. Somebody has those issues, there's different rulings on that. They're specific to that person on what the situation is. They'll have to go to the marja or the representative of the marja, the mujtahid, to get that answered properly. Yes, more questions, please. Anybody? Zain, Iman. Iman's gone. Fazan. Okay. Yeah. Go on. Ask the question. Okay, Fazan, you're good. Okay, ask one more question coming from Alamdar. Waiting for that. How big a scale must the change of place be in intiqal? Like given the example of blood going from one body to the other. For example, when you're having the example of the mosquito, that is a proper intiqal. It should go from one realm to the other. Yeah, blood transfusion as well. So take you from one place to the other. That kind of stuff is an intiqal. Sometimes, you know, if you take the vessels, if they're najis, and then they're purified, then they become in a different state altogether. Because Zain says, why do people say wasila is shirk? That is ignorance, Zain. Wasila is shirk. If there was no wasila, they wouldn't themselves be in the world. Do you understand why? Because Allah can create a kun fayakun, be and it is. But He used the wasila of parents to get somebody into this world. He could have said kun fayakun, anybody could be existing right there. But He didn't do that. He used a channel, a process, so to reach us and for us to reach them as well, the same situation. Okay, I hope that answers the question. Yes. Allah says, so you question someone who did ghaibatul Muslim and you really think they are still najis, what should you consider then? Simple principle follows. If he is a follower of Sharia, you know that. If he is careful about najis and tahara, you assume that he is pure. For example, if a baby peed on me, like I gave the example on my abba here that I'm wearing, and I go to my house, and then 10 minutes later, I'm wearing the same abba and coming in, you know, and praying in the masjid, then you can consider, that doesn't sound right. That's not right. You can question that person, definitely. But it could be that, you know, I went in, washed it, and put it in front of the hair dryer and dried it up quickly. If it's a fine cloth, it could still be okay. But if you see somebody who is a follower of the Sharia and he has had enough time to purify himself or herself, you don't need to question him. Just assume that they are tahir. Murtaza says, can you please give an example that is applicable to day-to-day life, or is intiqal not commonly able to be? It's not commonly able to be used in day-to-day life. For example, although this is more intiqal, it's more like inqalab and istihala. The main example I can give you is of wine turning into vinegar. I mean, intiqal is not actually used really in real life and day-to-day life. Okay, 6 believe in one God. Are they monotheistic? If so, are they tahir? From my point of view, they are monotheistic and they are tahir. My wife thinks otherwise, but she has not told me why she thinks otherwise, because they are monotheistic. They believe in one God. And they believe in gurus who taught them about the one God. But from my point of view, yes, I think they're tahir. But Zain, you should speak to the marja on this one as well. I'm not qualified mujtahid to represent any marja. So I'm just, a student scholar. Even though I know the answer to this, doesn't mean that you should follow what I'm saying. Okay, thank you. Any more questions, or shall we close the class today? I hope you guys enjoyed, because there's lots of discussions in fiqh, and you can ask me any questions. I'm happy to answer all of them as long as I know it. If I don't, I will find out and give it to you. Thank you, Alamdar. Revise the chapter, otherwise you'll forget again, and that'll be it. Revise the chapter, all of you. Murtaza, Zain, Alamdar, Ghazanfar. Where's Ghazanfar? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good lad. Next week, I'm going to ask you questions. I want a presentation from you.
Me?
Ghazanfar, you haven't participated in this term at all.
No, so what should I do on?
Okay, let's discuss it now. What shall you do it on? Why don't you discuss the mutaharat in a short form? Don't need to prepare a presentation as such on, like Muhammad Abbas had done very nicely. You can if you want to, but you can discuss. Take one example, for example. Let's say water. Give a presentation on what is kur water and how can water become najis if it's not kur. What is muzaf water? What is mutlaq water? Just do it on water. What it can be used for, which water can't be used for wudu and ghusl. What if there's no water, and what do we do in that case? We'll pay a little bit more. Sorry?
Should I do a speech?
Yeah, 5 minutes maximum, 5-6 minutes.
Okay,
Not
sir.
too much, but you should do it in a solid one, not the flimsy one, proper, like a student.
Yes, sir. Make
Good.
it absolutely great.
Yeah, like Muhammad Abbas did it was very nice.
Okay.
Okay, inshallah, shall we terminate the class for today?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. Khuda Hafiz, all of you.
Khuda Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Hafiz.
Khuda Hafiz.
The two more new messages. Okay, Khuda Hafiz.